Excuse me? Hello? Excuse me? Candy cane? Happy holidays, homemakers! I'm Melinda, and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. And today we're making candy cane cookies. Alright, so candy cane cookies is from section A, seasonal favorites, winter, card number 25, and I am really excited to make these cookies. Probably one of my favorite things about the holiday season is the snacks and the desserts. I love making cookies. My family and I, we always make cookies in the week leading up to Christmas. We have a bunch of different kinds, and then we have them to snack on, through the new year. And my mom has made Betty Crocker's candy cane cookies before. It's not really in our regular rotation. I don't ever really remember helping her make them, but she says they were good. So I'm excited to try to make them again. I think it could be easy or it could go terribly wrong. You never know when you're making shapes, trying to turn things into shapes. So I think it should be fun. All right, let's get started. All right, let's take a look at the ingredients. For candy cane cookies, we will need a half cup of butter, softened, a half cup of shortening, confectioner sugar, an egg, both almond and vanilla extracts. Of course, we'll need some gold medal flour, salt, and red food coloring. And then she says it's optional, but one thing you can do is take peppermint candy and crush it up and mix it with granulated sugar and then sprinkle that on top of the candy canes. So we're gonna try to do that to some of them and see how it goes. All right, so let's get started assembling our dough. So she says mix thoroughly butter, shortening, confectioner sugar, blah, blah, blah. Blend in flour and salt, blend in food coloring. I was like, am I using a beater? Am I using a hand mixer, or am I just doing this by hand? This is a half cup of butter, aka a whole stick. Then we need a half cup of shortening. Okay, so that's a half cup of shortening. Yeah, I feel like you need a machine to get these things mixed together, you know? I can't do that by myself, by hand. Confectioner sugar, which is a cup. This is gonna go everywhere. It always does. Yeah, it doesn't say packed or not. I'm just gonna do it. There we go. Can't have too much sugar, right? An egg. An egg. Okay, we need 1.5 teaspoons of almond extract. Ooh, I didn't expect it to be clear. That's interesting. 1 teaspoon, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. All right. Yeah, we're just gonna get in there. We're just gonna get in here and beat it and hope for the best. Ah! Yeah, this was a good call. I needed to do this. Thought I was gonna mix that by hand. Are you kidding me? With what? Okay, this looks pretty smooth and free of clumps. So now we're gonna add 2.5 cups of flour. Oh, I should use the real Betty Crocker method. I'm sorry. I talked about this on a past episode that I don't recall about how Betty's recommended way of measuring flour is to spoon it in. Spoon it in. And then you level it off. So that's 1 cup, 2 cups, and then I need a half cup, but that's dirty, so I'm gonna use 2 quarter cups. Quarter cup. Then a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, 1 teaspoon, okay. In case you're wondering, I was using a quarter teaspoon to measure 1 teaspoon because my others are covered in extract. Okay. Blend in flour and salt. Okay. What a mess I'm making. We're blending. Ooh! At this point, it looks pretty combined to me, and it's starting to fling out of the bowl. So I'm gonna go ahead and just finish mixing it by hand. Oh yeah, this is like a nice light fluffy dough. Malleable. Let me get cleaned up and I'll be right back. All right, so now we're gonna take half the dough. I hope I am making an even half here. That looks about even, right? And half the dough is gonna become red. I feel like the food coloring should have been incorporated before it got to this stage, because this seems hard to mix in. But we're just gonna see what we can do. Like, I feel like it'd be easier to mix in with my hands, but I really don't want to dye my hands red. All right, it's time to assemble our candy cane cookies. So she says that we should be kind of rolling them back and forth on a lightly floured board. So that's what I have here. Okay, shape 1 teaspoon of dough from each half into 4-inch rope. Okay, so I'm not gonna actually measure a teaspoon. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball a teaspoon. That's maybe closer to a tablespoon? I don't know. I wish she said like 1-inch ball or something. Like that. Okay. And we're gonna roll into each half into a 4-inch rope. They're about even. Roll them back and forth, place ropes side by side, press together lightly, and twist. Okay, so pressing together, and I'm twisting. Oh, the flour's making it so that they're not gonna press together. And they're not twisting, they're falling apart. Excuse me? Hello? Excuse me? Candy cane? Okay, so the first one's done. I don't know what happened. We'll just put that aside. Let's not look at that. Maybe it's too much flour. Okay, let's try again. I want to do what I did with my little test, which is kind of roll them together. Okay, I know that those aren't very even. But if you kind of roll them together so that they connect, this is not at all what Betty said to do. Then, this is way too long, break it in half. Then we twist. It's the twisting action that seems to break up the cookie. And then you go like this. They look chunkier than this actual size candy cane I just made. So maybe I'm going too thin with my snake, because this is definitely longer than 4 inches. So let me twist. Okay. But they are gonna puff, right? Cookies get bigger. So this is, I guess, what it looks like pre-puffed, and it'll puff and it'll get bigger. And like, same with this one. We'll just cut it off. Okay, so I have my first 9 cookies. I'm gonna bake these. It says 9 minutes at 375 or until lightly brown. I'm interested to see, like, size-wise, if I'm heading in the right direction. You can see I started a lot thinner and smaller and started to get thicker and bigger as I went. And these look the best to me. Like, this procedure that I'm starting to get into feels right, but I'm worried how these big ones will puff, if they're gonna be too big of a cookie. So I wanna like bake these, see how they do, and then learn as we go, and then make more. So I'm gonna put these in the oven now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, while the first batch in the oven, I'm gonna try to make the topping, which is just crushed peppermint candy and granulated sugar. So I have some granulated sugar. I have these candy canes. And my plan is to put them in this bag and roll it with a rolling pin, which I'm not really sure how else I would crush it. And it has to be like a really fine powder, like as fine as sugar. So we'll see what happens. Try not to get any plastic in there. Come on, candy cane. This probably would have been easier if I just got like those circular peppermint candies. All right, let's see what happens. Sorry, neighbors. Maybe I'll do this with a towel. It's not really doing anything. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna use this. This doesn't seem like it went well. Okay, maybe we'll just have plain cookies. Sorry. Okay, I've taken the first batch out. As you can see, those smaller ones got burnt, but the bigger ones are just like barely brown. And I think that's the vibe I wanna go for. Like the bigger, chunkier ones. So let's let these cool and we'll keep going. The key is you don't want them to break, so you really want them to be like chunky little guys, you know? Like you want them to, you know, survive this curve around. So what have we decided? We don't need the flour. That was ruining things. We are following her instructions, but I am rolling. So she says to press them lightly together and then just twist. I am rolling them a little bit just so they're really connected. And then I'm twisting. And I'm kind of twisting by I'm holding one side and just kind of rolling it. And anytime it's like starting to break apart, I just kind of pat it back together. And then I continue to roll it to kind of solidify the twist. And then you kind of form the cane from there. That's what I've been doing. All right, all our cookies are done. They're out of the oven. I have had them cooling on the cooling rack. As you can see, it kind of was a lot of trial and error, but I think I came to a few cookies that I think came out perfect. But it took a lot of effort. So as you can see, we started with too small and thin, got too brown. Then I went too big and too thick. Some of them are falling apart, as you can see, which makes me nervous. Like this one lost its hook completely. So that makes me nervous for transport with these. But as I was working, I kind of developed what I found to be a good methodology and then came to the right kind of shape and size for them at the end. But this recipe was for 4 dozen cookies and I barely have, I think, 2.5 dozen here. So definitely my larger ones might have added to that, but yeah, a lot of experimentation had to go down to get where I wanted to be, and then I was out of dough. So anyway, let's get these plated and we'll give them a taste. All right, so it's time to taste these cookies. I'm so excited. They turned out really cute, but I'm intrigued to see how they taste because they are kind of hard. They're not as sugar cookie-like as I thought they would be. All right, let me taste one of the uglier ones. This one. All right, here we go. Okay, it's like a shortbread. It's very crumbly. It just breaks apart. Yeah, it's not soft at all. And it's also not that sweet. I think if I ended up doing the sugar and peppermint sprinkle, that would have helped sweeten it up a bit, but it's kind of, middle of the road. And, the almond flavor comes through really well, which I like. And this would be good with coffee. Like Christmas morning, you wake up, make yourself a cup of coffee. I don't know if dipping it in, it might kind of fall apart if you dipped it in, but kind of sip a coffee, bite a cookie, sip a coffee, bite a cookie. That would be so good. Yeah, just a standard kind of shortbready sugar cookie. Looks cute though. Okay, time to rate candy cane cookies. Yeah, I think these are okay. They were kind of stressful to assemble. I wish there was more specific instructions about kind of the size of things. She told me you start with a 4-inch roll, but that's before you twist it and before you before you turn it into the cane. So I wish I kind of got an end instruction, final cookie should be 3 inches long or 1/2 inch thick or something that kind of guided me, because you saw how big of a variety of sizes and shapes I ended up with just because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do from the instructions. And I think I would have ended up in a better place if I knew a little bit more about what I was aiming for, because these photos are so hard to tell scale in. It's kind of impossible. But I do think that it ended up looking a lot like the photo and they tasted okay. They tasted like a shortbread cookie. If you're looking for something on the lighter side, a little less kind of overpowering, this would be a nice cookie to make. I think I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 bread spoons. Okay, back in the box. Thank you so much for watching. This is our 25th episode of Unboxing Betty, and it feels like a perfect round number to end out the year on. I feel so grateful to have an audience that gets to hang out with me in the kitchen while I'm cooking these recipes. I love that I get to share this adventure with all of you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you cook amazing food and you get to enjoy time with friends and family. And I hope you have an amazing new year. And that's pretty much it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and happy holidays.